Here's what you need to know about working with non-plied yarn. This may or may not be for you. It looks absolutely amazing. I'll go over the yarn I used in this shawl real quickly here with you, and then let's kind of get into the nitty-gritty of what I think about non-plied yarn. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, let me hold this up here and see how I've got several strands right there, and it is one yarn, but they are not twisted together. This was a super fun project for me. I am totally a basic pumpkin spice girl. I absolutely love it. I love all things like fall spices, all of that type of stuff. And this was Hobbie's Halloween Dalia in the color pumpkin spice. I loved that it was just like fall colors. All of the rest of their Halloween in that section were all very like Halloween-y colors, green, orange, purple, you know, those almost like glowy, glow-in-the-dark type of colors. And this one wasn't. Now, I have looked just before I got on here, and this one is sold out currently, but there are a few other ones in stock that are, more Halloween-y colors. But to me, I feel like this doesn't necessarily say Halloween. I think I can wear this all the way definitely to Thanksgiving and still really enjoy it. When I got the cake, it was a little bit smaller than I expected it to be. It is a little over 800 meters, but it is, you know, a number one weight, a fingering weight yarn. It is cotton. So even though it did look kind of small when I got it, it was definitely smaller than this. This is about 1,000 in this cake right here. So I want to say maybe it went to more like, yeah, like this ring right there, but this is plenty big enough for me. It's absolutely giant if I wear it as a triangle scarf, and it is perfect if I wear it as a shawl. This is 100% cotton, so it feels really amazing. There is really no stretch to it at all, but it is very, very drapey, and it's got like a really good squish to it. That is such like an oddly specific thing that attracts me to a yarn, but I want to squish it, and I want it to feel good when I squish it. The price that I got this for was $15 on sale. I definitely would not have paid like the full, I think it was like $28 price, because I'm just too cheap. That's what it boils down to. Like I said, now I believe the remaining ones are on sale for like $10.50, I think. I will definitely check back next year and see what is available as well. The one downside about this yarn is it is not a beginner-friendly type of yarn when you're working with non-plied yarn. It definitely takes a little longer. It takes a lot more concentration to work with. And I want to say like more patience than maybe, like, I have a lot more patience now than when I started crocheting. So it was definitely easier for me just to slow down, not try to power through it, and just keep going. So the really amazing thing about this type of non-plied yarn is the gradients to it, where you can see like it starts here and all four of the colors are the dark brown, and then it starts adding into this lighter brown, and then it keeps transitioning into more of the lighter brown, and then you see some of the reds getting in there with it, and the red and the brown mix, and then mostly red with just a little brown, and then it starts going into the red and the orange, and then the orange, and then the medium orange, and then the light orange, and it just keeps going. Now, there was a little bit more where it was just all really light orange, and I maybe could have gotten one more scallop, so that would have been like, you know, 4 more rows out of it. But this was plenty big enough for me, and I kind of just didn't want it getting any lighter. I mean, some people might really, really love that. It was definitely kind of like a creamsicle type of color, and it was pretty, but I just thought this was a great stopping point for me. The best thing that I can say is if you like really, really like soft, gradual color transitions, this is a great type of yarn for you. You know, you just don't have to worry about it. You know, you just let it go, and you're not worried about color controlling, so you're not losing or like wasting extra yarn. You just get to go and let the color play out, and just know that it is going to blend really, really beautifully. And I've said this before when I did my yarn art. shawl that is very similar to this. It is similar to YarnArt, but the YarnArt is plied. So if you are someone who loves an amazing gradient but struggles with the non-plied, try YarnArt. I will link the video for you where I go over all that and what to get and all that stuff. So when the gradient changes, I know there has to be knots in this. Like, everybody hates factory knots, and I know they were in there, but honestly, I was only able to even notice one of them while crocheting, like through all of the color changes. So it wasn't bad at all. Like, and I think I barely even noticed the one. And once I got it into the stitch, I couldn't tell at all. So that is great, not having a lot of factory knots, but then also not having to weave in ends every time I change a color, because we know that that's not my strong suit. Now, the YarnArt does have some really beautiful gradient cakes. And like I said, I'll have that video for you. And that had a gradient, that had like a foil string through it that was plied into it. And so it had like a beautiful shimmer to it. And you could definitely do that if you wanted to. You could just buy some of the like colored, I had gotten some from Hobbii that was gold. I know Drops has some. And yeah, you could definitely add that in if you wanted to. Definitely not a beginner project for someone more experienced, and not a project that you would probably like take in the car or be traveling with or anything like that. Definitely one that, you need to have your stuff there, and it becomes a little more of a process. But I can tell you, it would look absolutely gorgeous to have like a little copper foil strand running through that whole thing. That would be amazing. I would love that. Now, if you are like me and make a lot of shawls and scarves for yourself, you already know what you would make with this. The fact of the matter is, with the gradient yarn, it is a very specific effect, and it's not going to work for every single project that you do. So you do want to be a little more mindful. It's not something you would just do on a whim. Definitely shawls, wraps, things like that are going to work best for this. But if you have any other type of project that is in the round where, you start out, on a simple version, a granny square, but, it could be like, I could definitely see doing like a scallop in the round for like an end tablecloth, something like that would be very pretty. Yeah, there's just tons of things that you could do in the round for decoration, and I think it would be great. So here's my final thoughts on non-plied yarn. Got an amazing gradient. It's soft. It's beautiful. I thought, for the most part, the price were fair. When you consider you get all of the different colors, and you don't have to buy multiple types of yarn, you don't have any waste to it. Like I said, I got this for $15, and I think that is amazing for a big shawl. And I do love the fall colors that I got this in, but I know there are lots of very pretty like soft gradients. There's also like very dramatic ones. I know Hobbii also has some where I can't remember what they're called, but they're like black, where they have black in color. And I would really like to try one of those, because I think that would look extremely pretty as well. But on the downside, like I said, not a most beginner friendly project. So what I would say is, to do this, my main goal was to use a pattern that I pretty much knew by heart and knew I really wouldn't have to frog. The other thing about doing a virus shawl is that if you screw up, it's pretty easy to fix your mistakes. So if you find that in this row down here, you only made 9, then, when you get up here to this row, you just add like a 10th one in that last stitch, and then boom, you've got 10. If you get in here and it's like, whoops, there's 11 in there, when you do that next row, you just skip that hole and then go ahead and, do your single crochet right over here. So this is one where I don't stress out a lot about it. I know that I can fix any issues I might create, and I know that it's not going to be the end of the world if there is a little bit of mistake. It's not going to show up that much, and definitely not worth frogging, because while I have not had to frog this type of yarn, the non-plied yarn, I don't think I'd like to. I think that could be very problematic. I think the strands could get tangled very easy. So I just really wanted to avoid any pattern that I might have to frog, or that I wanted a pattern that I would have some of the least chances of needing to frog. So I would say this is definitely more for like a intermediate beginner, an intermediate, and definitely, you know, if you love shawls, this is absolutely, I mean, I really can't think of a better type of yarn for a shawl, for something really gradient and beautiful and, you know, eye-catching. Would I buy this yarn again? Yes, I definitely would. If they have another color next year that is fall themed, I will purchase that. But again, I have bought this soft cake from Linda Hobbii right here, and there is more yardage in this. There is about 1,000. Linda Hobbii did not have near as many color choices though, much fewer color choices. So it is definitely, you know what? I might have another one. Hold on. Okay, I do have another one. Okay, so the Dalia Halloween was 100% cotton. This from Linda Hobbii, the soft cake, is 50 cotton and 50 acrylic. So is this one right here, and this is from Linda Hobbii. It's a Flora soft cake. Yeah, so soft cake, Flora soft cake. And again, about 1,000 yards, but this one, you can see there's a lot more colors. It is where you can see the gradient more, where this is so neutral, you know, it just blends in, and it you know, like that one's going to be really kind of hard, I think, to see the color changes. Like I think it's just going to be smooth as a baby's butt. So yeah, here is this one. Don't remember what it was called. It says color 9013 if you want that, from Linda Hobbii. But I thought this had like a very fun, like Western type of feel to it, with the turquoise and the orange, and then like the burnt orange red, and then the caramel. I will be doing the dark at the top and working down. This might be more of a, I don't know. I don't know when I'm going to work on it. Probably not right at the moment, because I'm kind of in like black yarn mode at the moment, and like super warm instead of the cotton. So, you know, it might be a little while before I get to that, but darn it, that is beautiful. I totally got distracted there. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to go off, but I just wanted to show you another good example of the non-plied yarn. If this seems a little bit intimidating for you, but you absolutely love the way the colors go and the gradient, definitely look at the YarnArt. I know I said it, but I will have that linked for you, where you can see that where it is plied. It is definitely a little easier to work with, and doing something like that might actually give you a little more confidence and make it even easier to tackle a project like this. Thank you so much for talking yarn with me. I will talk with you again next week. Bye.